you said you would go there because you want to stay at all the resorts. But is this like the last place you're gonna go, or like?
I don't know if it will be the last.
Yeah. So, as you can see, we're highly recommending Saratoga Springs Resort for everybody.
Better that than the All-Stars.
The resort of last resorts for a reason.
Yeah, they got big rooms. Cheap if you get
Welcome, Walt Disney World fans, to another episode of the Notcast, presented by NotClub33.com. On the show today, we are talking Saratoga Springs Resort. One person on our panel actually owns there as a DVC member, and I think you already know who that is. My name is Steve Rhodes. With me this week, it's Becky Wells.
Hey, it's not me.
Pat Neistat.
What's up? It's not me either.
It might be this guy, Chris Dahl.
It is me.
This guy.
He's actually never stayed there, but the person on the bottom of your screen in the right-hand corner has, Mr. Bobby Burchins.
Do you guys know that Australia is wider than the moon?
Is it really?
Not grammar.
Yeah. No, it's
No
not.
way.
It's just fun facts. No, Australia is 2,485 miles wide. The moon is 2,159 miles wide.
See, Australia, you got something going for yourself other than that fucking bullshit breakdancer. See? Look at you. Look at you. Anyway, this show is about Saratoga Springs Resort.
Not about you got served the Olympics?
No, it certainly isn't. It's about the resort themed after a horse area out in New York. It's literally.
I haven't stayed there, but my points have.
See? Chris Dahl, you are an owner there. Bobby, you have stayed there, and none of the rest of us actually have. Chris, you've never stayed there. So let's just start with somebody else who's never stayed there. Why not throw a curveball? Pat, you are an actual DVC member. Easiest place to rent Saratoga Springs.
According to Disney, I'm second class DVC member. Go ahead.
Yes. But, why aren't you using your points there, man? Tell us.
Well, I don't know. Nothing about the resort interests me. I mean, the look of it, I'm not into the feel of it. I will say this. I did consider buying points there when I was originally looking at points because the actual upfront cost are really reasonable, I guess, as far as DVC goes. But then I looked over at the Poly and I'm like, I'd really like to stay there all the time if I could.
A little bit nicer.
So much deep dive research on all these other resorts. He's like, but really, I'm just going to go back to the first thing I wanted in the first place.
No, I don't know. There's just I'm sure at some point I'll go there to stay there because I've heard the rooms are nice and big. The points charts are really reasonable if you're going to use your points so that you can push out your points further. I don't know. I mean, if all the stuff I have to choose from, that's not something I'm looking at. I don't, for right now at least.
Yeah, I mean, I've looked at it like 400 times just because a lot of times for the deluxe option as a retail customer, it's the cheapest.
How much?
But it'll be in the high twos and push into the 300s, right?
That's not bad.
If you're doing cash stay though, it's like it's unreal. I'm like,
but for cash and the location, I can literally go across the street to the Good Neighbor Hotel for
absolutely
low 100s to the mid
quarter
or
of
even
the
high
cost.
100s, and I'm gonna get the same things besides the extra late night park hours. I still get to get in the park early, but I don't get the late night hours, and I saved half the money.
And you're right next to Disney Springs as well.
It's right. Yeah, it's literally across the street. So when I look at that, I just say the value isn't there, and maybe that is one of the reasons I haven't stayed there. And Becky, we were talking off camera. You said you would go there because you want to stay at all the resorts. But is this like the last place you're going to go, or like?
I don't know if it would be the last one. I honestly, I really feel like probably would be.
Yeah. Oh man.
You can't
well, I
go
would
to
have thought
Riviera with your point,
Old
can
Key
you?
West was like maybe lower on my list of where I would stay. But no, but I've stayed there, and I liked it. But realistically, out of all the DVCs, like, fuck you, Disneyland Tower Hotel. No.
Well, what about the cabins?
Oh yeah. Oh,
Forget
that's
about
all
those.
right.
I do not need to.
Did we do a show on that?
We're gonna move on.
Yeah.
Also, no. No, so the only time I've been over at Saratoga Springs, we did do a DVC tour. And it was there at that time. When Josh came, we all went, like the whole family. And honestly, the kids were so amped because they're like, they've got like a kids club thing, and then they give you ice cream afterwards. Honestly, this turned me off to the entire resort because I was so upset. They have in their little ice cream parlor, every one of the tables has a map of the United States. And they had Mount Rushmore in North Dakota. It's not in North Dakota. It's in South Dakota. And I was like, your map has so many errors on it. And it obviously has been here a while.
Yeah, they
It's
have
really pathetic.
they have
And
Fargo as
single
part of
table,
the United States, not Canada.
right? Every single table, I mean, these are old, and it's like it's the table. It's not like they just had a picture somewhere. So I was like, this is fucking pathetic. Where's the details? This resort sucks. Like, I was out at that point.
Full disclosure.
Fix your ice cream tables.
Yeah. I know a lot about American geography, but I was literally just telling my wife like 2 weeks ago, we have some friends that are moving in to one of the Dakotas. I don't know if it's yours or the one north of you.
If it's mine.
And I was like, I don't know which Dakota.
Fargo, that's about it.
No, I don't know which one the Mount Rushmore. I didn't know. And I'm pretty well versed in American. Yeah. But you know what? Next show, Bobby, that should be the fun fact just to beat it into our heads.
You say it wrong, though.
What restaurant are even at Saratoga?
Please get it wrong. This is a resort I've been to. Like, I've been over there. I've walked over there from Disney Springs to see what it's all about. It's massive. It's vast. Chris, you actually freaking own there. You've never stayed there as an owner. How many non-Saratoga Springs stays have you had since you bought your contract, and why have you not been there?
I mean, probably counting split stays, I've stayed at probably 7 or 8 resorts at this point, and not there. And part of it is because you don't need to. Like,
right?
We
why
don't
should
go
you?
in busy times. I mean,
you don't need
it. I mean, the 7 month. I mean, we're at a point where we have younger. I mean, the kids are getting older. Like, time moves in one direction, but we still like to walk to the parks, and we're not going to take a bus. I mean, the things that I like about Saratoga, the reason that we will stay there sometime is, Pat, you mentioned the restaurants. The restaurants are not good, but if you stay near the walkway, you're a walk across to Disney Springs. So you've got a ton of places within walking distance. You do have boat travel that you can get around a little bit. I like that you can park right outside your building as opposed to some of the big ones where you're taking
just like a Motel 6.
Just like a Motel 6. I mean, the rooms are nice. I like being close, and we figured as the kids got older and they cared less about going to the parks all the time, they might want the freedom to walk over to Disney Springs, explore, shop. But right now it's not a priority. I guess the drone show, you can see the drone show too from the central area. That's actually kind of cool.
New bonus.
Well, it's backwards, but yeah.
It is backwards, yes. Yeah. The Death Star looks totally different that direction.
Yeah, so it's actually better to stay at the Good Neighbor hotels where you can see it forwards for half the price. Well, for retail customers, it's half the price. Yeah. So you privied us to some new information, Chris, that this might be someplace you stay here in the near future.
Yeah, we're thinking about going in a couple of months just for a quick stay. We're actually going elsewhere in Florida, but that's the other benefit of Saratoga Springs is we're 45 days out in the most busy time of the year for DVC, and there is always 1 bedrooms available at Saratoga Springs. So it's always an option.
For you viewers at home, turn on those notifications because obviously crazy people turn those on. But if Chris does stay there, we'll try to have him back on the show and get a recap on this episode about how it actually went. Because the only person that's actually stayed at Saratoga Springs and had just a wonderful time is the Disney cynic.
Right? Is he still going to recommend it?
Oh.
So, all right, I'm going to handicap this thing a little bit by saying the last time that I stayed there, it was during COVID, and like clearly shit was going downhill.
So is this like plus 3,500 handicap? No.
Yeah.
Not getting into sports betting. It is football.
Not right now. Not right now, anyway. So, look, they fucked up the lock. I couldn't open up the lock with the app and everything like that. Then it turned out, oh no, maintenance has to come in, and they just stood there for like an hour while I'm waiting on like my brother and stuff to go out to dinner. And it was a whole mess. Not my first choice, obviously. That being said, I think we're sleeping on a couple of different things here. One, if you are a more slow-paced vacationer when it comes to Disney, if you're not a pound the parks person, Saratoga Springs is right up your alley. It's away from the hustle and bustle of everything, and yet you're still very distinctly inside of Disney, but you have that break and that separation, which I think is a good thing in many cases. Also, throwing it out there, something that hasn't been brought up, the tree toppers, which are like Disney legacy to a degree. They're old school, actual tree houses, basically, that are built like cabins in the woods. You get to park underneath them. They used to be cast member housing. I think this was supposed to be the original Golden Oak at one point too, but it just never worked out that way. But still, there's different types of accommodations there that aren't offered anywhere else, really. And so that's something else that you can look into for a different type of vacation.
Sure. And
wasn't there like a power washing incident that you were involved with, or is that a story that you told? They're power washing like outside your room or something?
Oh, they do that shit all the time. That's part of the course now. Yeah.
But outside of the tree houses, the uniqueness of the place isn't really there. Besides the adjacentness to Disney Springs, but if you're talking about disconnecting and being remote, wouldn't Old Key West be a better option?
In my opinion, yes, but that's because I love Old Key West more so than most of the people on this panel anyway.
No, I would stay there 400 times quicker than I ever would Saratoga Springs.
When all four of you guys, when you all go one direction, I can't like not go the other direction. I mean, come on, I had to find something positive to talk about. Yeah. No, I just have to be different. That's all.
What restaurants are even at Saratoga Springs?
The Surf and Turf Club.
Turf Club, and then the quick service is not. I mean, all I've heard is don't go there. Yeah, Artist Palette is the answer. Yeah, I don't know if they serve trash nuggets, but I think we can assume yes.
They probably do.
Quite frankly, it doesn't really matter what the restaurants are there because you do have Disney Springs right next door, so you could just essentially ignore them. They do need to up their quick. Yeah, they got to up their quick service game and have a decent bar. The sit down stuff, I can go get that next door. But if you have a good quick service and a decent bar, I'd be in. Guess what?
Steve's in. Yeah, Steve's in.
I also want to throw something out there that won't be considered probably, but honestly, the golf course being located there, Lake Buena Vista golf course, particularly for someone like me who doesn't necessarily love all the loud and in-your-face bullshit of Disney merch and stuff like that. Yeah. It's a lot more subtle and relaxed and that kind of stuff over at the pro shop for stuff like pullovers and polos and all that kind of stuff as well. Stuff that's not available over at World of Disney. You can really only get it at one of the pro shops. So I would also recommend that for somebody who's not into Spirit jerseys and all that bullshit.
Oh God! Don't get me started on Spirit jerseys.
It's fucking stupid. It's
but honestly, you don't have to stay there to go to the clubhouse to buy merch.
You don't, but it's something else to consider about the property.
Yeah, and if you're on the Poly side, there's another golf course, and you can get.
Let's get a Shades of Green one and some good,
or literally order it online.
I tried, guys. I fucking tried.
Yeah. So, as you can see, we're highly recommending Saratoga Springs Resort for everybody.
Better that than the All-Stars.
The resort of last resorts for a reason.
Yeah, they got big rooms. Cheap if you got DVC points.
Yeah,
Absolutely
there's
better
places
than
to
the
go.
All-Stars.
None of them are special, but
If
there's
you need a
plenty of
last
reasons
minute
to go.
reservation, it's probably there.
And they're nice after the refurb. Like I don't know how they've held up, but the rooms were nice after they changed them out a few years ago. We'll find out.
Fresh new plastic material on the floor and on the countertops were laid down. Yes, they were.
More white paint. Have fun.
Oh, man. Luckily, the head Imagineer has changed, so the next refurb will hopefully have a little bit more culture to it. And
heads up, that's Bay Lake Tower.
This 2D box shit. Oh, my.
We get more Incredibles. That'd be great.
That's another episode.
New mildew will be installed in all the rooms.
Paint over it, but now it kills white paint over it. Now it's 101 Dalmatians. Perfect.
Yeah. If you guys aren't picking up these inside jokes, it's because you're not subscribing. You haven't been watching enough of these videos. So why don't you do that, and then you'll understand what the hell we were just talking about there.
And apparently, if you do it enough, we'll bring you on the show. So,
See, that's how Chris got here.
Thank you.
Chris's socials are tagged if he wants me to tag him. If not, that's Chris Dahl. And Chris, we really appreciate you being on these last 3 episodes. Thank you for being on the Notcast, man.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's a blast.
If you like the show as much as Chris does, smack that like button. It really helps us out in YouTube's algorithm. I already told you to turn on the notifications and subscribe. So if you've done all 3 of those things, we really appreciate it. And we'll see you on the next episode. For everybody here at Not Club 33, have a great day.